You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. That frozen screen, the blinking cursor on a black background, or maybe just that sudden, deafening silence when your computer should be humming to life. It's a feeling of pure, cold dread. But what if I told you that fixing your PC isn't about some kind of magic? It's really just about having a method.
Okay, let's just dive right into that scenario. That moment of panic, that's where most of us get stuck. We see a dead machine and our brains just jump straight to catastrophe. But for a pro, this is just the start of a really interesting puzzle. The question isn't, oh no, what's broken? It's, okay, where do I start looking?
And that right there is the secret. Troubleshooting isn't a memory test. You don't have to know a million different error codes. It's a logical process, a step-by-step approach that turns all that chaos into clarity. So today we're going to walk through that exact process so you can stop panicking and start problem solving. So what is this secret weapon that the pros use? Well, it's a framework, a 6-step solution that you can apply to pretty much any computer problem, from a tiny little glitch to a total system meltdown.
This is the roadmap. These 6 steps guide you from that I have absolutely no idea what's wrong feeling to, aha, I know what it is and here's how to fix it. It's all about being systematic. So let's apply this logic to our dead computer scenario. All right, step 1, identify the problem. Before we get lost in the weeds, we have to answer the biggest question of all. Is this a physical problem with the machine's parts, the hardware? Or is it a glitch in the code that runs on it, the software?
You know, the difference here is often about your senses. Hardware failures are things you can often see, hear, or even smell. You hear a grinding noise, you smell something that smells faintly like burning plastic, or there's just no power at all. Software failures, on the other hand, they usually pop up when the system is already trying to run. You know, the infamous blue screen of death, apps crashing, or just everything slowing to a crawl.
And this isn't some new idea. This quote from a Dell manual from way back in 1995 proves that the very first step has always been simple observation. Your eyes and ears are your best and your first diagnostic tools. So the most important thing to figure out is when a problem happens, and the most revealing moment by far is during the startup sequence. Think of it like a series of checkpoints the computer has to pass. The checkpoint where your computer fails tells you almost exactly what kind of problem you're dealing with.
This little timeline here shows the journey your computer takes every single time you press that power button. First up is the post. That's a super quick hardware health check. If that's all good, the boot manager has to find the operating system. Then it starts loading the kernel, which is like the absolute core engine of the whole OS. And finally, it loads up all your personal settings at logon. A failure at any one of these stages points to a totally different culprit.
Now, if your computer never even gets past this first step, like if you just get a series of weird beeps or an error message on a black screen right after you hit the power button, the problem is almost certainly hardware. The software hasn't even had a chance to get involved yet. And this is how technicians used to figure out those early hardware failures. It's called a postcard. You literally plug it right into the motherboard, and that little digital display would spit out an error code telling you exactly which component was failing its self-test. Pretty cool, huh? Now, if you get past that initial post, but then you see this dreaded screen, you've failed at a later stage, most likely during that kernel loading step. The blue screen of death often means a critical software driver is corrupt, or maybe a piece of hardware is failing while the operating system is trying to use it. See? The timing of the crash tells you everything. Okay, so you've used your eyes and ears, you've watched the timing, and you've formed a theory. Now it's time to actually test it and find a solution. And the best part? Your PC already has an incredible set of diagnostic tools built right in, just waiting for you to use them. If your theory is something like, my computer is just running way too slow, this is your first stop. The performance monitor is basically a live EKG for your computer. It shows you exactly what's eating up all your resources in real time. Is some application hogging your processor? Is your memory completely maxed out? This tool will tell you clear as day.
This is one of my personal favorites. The reliability monitor is like the modern software version of that old school postcard. It gives you this amazing timeline of your computer's stability, and it logs every single crash and critical error. If you're having one of those weird intermittent problems, this tool is pure gold for finding a pattern.
And the toolkit just keeps going. You've got CHKGSK, which scans your hard drive for physical errors. Then there's the System File Checker, SFC for short, which can be an absolute miracle worker for fixing corrupted Windows files.
You've also got the device manager, giving you a full status report on every single piece of hardware. And of course, the memory diagnostic, which does exactly what it says. It puts your computer's RAM through a serious stress test.
Now this is the registry editor. You can think of this as the master control panel. It's like the DNA of your entire operating system. It is incredibly powerful, but, and this is a huge but, the textbook is very clear. One wrong move in here can make your entire system unusable. This is a pro tool, and unless you know exactly what you're doing, it's best to just leave it to the experts.
And really, that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. This isn't about becoming a master technician overnight. The goal isn't to be a super user. It's about changing your mindset. It's about knowing how to look, how to listen, and how to follow a logical path to find an answer. It's about becoming a smart user.
So, the next time your computer starts acting up, I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you going to default to that old feeling of dread, or are you going to take a deep breath, remember the 6 steps, and start thinking like a pro? The choice, as they say, is yours.